no power meters, no bike computer. That is literally all you need. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a new video. Hope everybody's doing great. In this video, I'm going to touch on the tech that I believe you must have in order to have a great experience on your first IRONMAN 70.3. And it actually is very, very, very simple. In my opinion and in my experience, the only pieces of tech that you need for your first IRONMAN 70.3 are a GPS watch and an HR strap. That is it. No power meters, no bike computer. That is literally all you need. Why do I believe these are the only two pieces of tech that you need for your first IRONMAN 70.3? Well, because the watch personally was the thing that got me, say, hooked on triathlon, because it was the first time I could monitor my swims, I could see the distance I was doing, I could have a clear picture of what I was doing on the bike. It wasn't just speed, but it was also heart rate. And why is heart rate so important? Because heart rate goes hand in hand with perceived exertion to give us an idea of what's going on, what we are doing on the bike, basically, and on the run. Triathlon is aerobic movement, so the number one key metric is heart rate. Understanding heart rate zones and all those tests that can be done with only a watch. And I strongly suggest an HR strap, because the heart rate from the watch can be very erratic. I personally choose to use a watch and a heart rate monitor. So getting a watch allows us to monitor our training status, how we are progressing, what we're doing, what's going on with our body. And using HR as our key metric can be a very simple way to ensure that we are hitting the workouts in the correct zone, not like overdoing it and not even underdoing it. That's what I believe, a watch and an HR strap. I started with a Garmin 735 XT, which is the most entry-level multi-sport watch, but that has all the functions for triathlon, swim, run, you name it, they have everything. Then that watch broke in an accident, so I reluctantly upgraded to Phoenix 3 HR, which I used in my first IRONMAN 70.3. And the funny thing is, I was heading into the race without having a bike computer. I didn't have a bike computer. I was always looking at stuff on my watch, on my wrist when I was training. I bought a little Garmin bike computer the day before the race just because it was easier to see the metrics and I didn't want to have to think about them, if you know what I mean. So I did all my training before the event using only the watch. I personally believe that the watch is absolutely enough. So it can be very easy to get into triathlon with all the metrics that you need, just with a €20 HR strap and a $200-300 watch. And seriously, as far as triathlon tech goes, like a minimalistic tech setup for triathlon, I strongly believe multi-sport watch, in my case Garmin 945, I really highly recommend it because it has a slew of other functions that are really interesting and can help with all the other aspects like recovery, sleep, and those kind of things. A basic HR strap, I have a HRM Tri, so I can monitor my swims also, but I started out with a really cheap and simple Decathlon HR strap that was like €20 or something like that. Like, it's not needed to spend so much on the tech. Basically, to this day, I track everything with my watch. I have a bike computer, but I track every single workout with my watch. Because doing this, everything will be fed into the Garmin ecosystem and Training Peaks. So I will have a clear snapshot of everything coming from one device only. And this is really, really cool because you can have a snapshot of your weekly load and seeing how your training is progressing or when you need to recover. Like if I do a workout on Zwift, I will double track it on my watch. If I do a workout on the bike outside, I will double track it on my Brighton computer and the watch. And I will always save from the watch to have a clear snapshot of what I'm doing in the Garmin ecosystem. How would I train if I only had my GPS watch and an HR strap? I would subdivide the sessions during a week, do some hard sessions and some easy sessions. The hard sessions are short, like maybe 1 hour for 70.3, even less. Like it will be 1 hour with warm up and cool down. And in the middle we'll have like some intervals on the bike. And the intervals can be like super full gas, maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes, but max effort, and then recovery. And if you do 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off, that is like the starting point, let's say. It's so the time you are spending in the interval and you recover at the same time. And then you can just do the interval that is 2 minutes long and then recover for 1.5 minutes and do it again and progress this way. Or it will be tempo sessions, so maybe some sections of the ride, maybe a 1 hour and a half ride. You would have an 8-minute section with 2 minutes recovery that is done at, let's say, above race pace, above 70.3 race pace. And recover 2 minutes, do it again 3 times. That would be like a tempo session, let's say. And then the long stuff would be just keeping the heart rate under 145 and just riding your bike, basically. For the run, I'm not an expert because I don't do much speed work on the run, but I think after having done a few races and having trained so much, the thing I would do on the run was to try and max out the go all day pace. So I would do a lot of sessions at the top of the aerobic zone and trying to hold that for as long as possible, not going above it and not staying too low. So basically I would go up to 155 and just keep it at that intensity for the workouts, because I think on the run it can be very, very useful. And especially brick workouts, because doing brick workouts can help with figuring out the pacing on the bike. If we do 1 hour and a half on the bike and then we cannot run 8 kilometers without exploding, it means that we pace the bike not in the correct way. So we have to go back and see, oh, this time I held 155 average heart rate on the bike. That was a bit too much because I exploded on the run, so I should keep it at 145. Next time I would try and go 145 on the bike and see how the run goes. And this can all be done with the simple GPS multisport watch. For like a more intermediate level, for sure the #1 upgrade I would recommend and that I did is a power meter on the bike, because a power meter on the bike opens up a whole new world relative to pacing and pacing strategy during a race. With power on the bike, we can train with FTP, all the metrics that a power meter can give us relative to power output, and that can really help with pacing during a race. So when we have our functional threshold power, we know how much percentage of that power we should and can hold for 2 hours and a half, 3 hours, 6 hours. It can take out a lot of the guesswork. It can really help to have a solid metric on which to rely during the race day and in the training, especially every single session we do can be monitored and we can have a direct feedback on what's going on with our power output. So absolutely, power is the next upgrade, the next key metric that I found super, super useful after a basic multisport GPS watch, an HR strap, power meter. That's it. The bike is the biggest portion of any race. It's the longest portion of any race. So to ensure that we nail it, a power meter can be absolutely fundamental. So let me know what you think. That's the tech that I would recommend any beginner who is trying to get into triathlon and Ironman 70.3 or full distance Ironman. I would recommend them to get. Very simple, not expensive, but it can help so much. It can have so much value in progressing with our training and giving us confidence to get to the event, like knowing that we're ready to do it. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you liked it. Hope you found it useful. If you have any other suggestions for videos that you would like to see, leave a comment below. I'll see you in the next video.